Hey guys, and welcome to part two of our Asia series of cruise edition to kind of get a hands on some of the popular cruise lines as well as some of the cruise lines that do itineraries in that region. Again, there's so many options, but just to kind of get you to know a little bit more about them, as well as some tips and tricks about things that you can do while you're there or things you should do ahead of time. So, with that being said, my name's Taishita. I am the founder and CEO of Luxury Travels by Dreamy Designer Events, where we curate elevated experiences worldwide and design retreats and conferences for founders and CEOs so they can connect with their team as well as their clients and audience. So, with that, let's dive right on in. And we are going to dive right on into Royal Caribbean. They have a ton of different cruise ships and different cruise lines. And like I said before, they do rotate around every so often. However, we're going to focus on the Royal Caribbean at this moment. Just for if anyone didn't catch it in my first video, I did go a little bit more into detail with these. Just a few things. Make sure you arrive early prior to when your cruise is supposed to be departing. This is for flight delays, any weather delays, things outside of your control. Obviously, you can't control it all. This is where we highly recommend travel protection. I know it's one of those things that some people are like, hey, whatever. The ideal of it is if your I should say, if your trip is still going to be able to go off, meaning that your cruise is still going to sell or X, Y, and Z, and you can't get there because of something outside of your control, this is where travel protection does come in. I speak from experience as well as from a lot of my clients. So definitely something food for thought. Also, the biggest one is they had like a major conference somewhere and half of the attendees couldn't even get out there, but thankfully they had insurance. So it wasn't as big of a loss, but it's just one of those things you would rather to be able to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. A few other things is there are certain destination visas are required. Clothing, make sure because clothing, the weather and the destination as well as on the ship could feel a little bit different. So just make sure you're prepared. If you're any of our clients or people working with us, don't worry about it. We prepare you guys all ahead of time and give you everything you need prior to it. So you don't have to worry about it. This is just for anyone else who either has something planned or is thinking about it. Some things that you have to just know in advance. Also, most important is currency, making sure that you know the currency of where you're going and if the different ports have different currencies, and making sure you contact your card company and your cell phone in advance. So let's dive right on in. Royal Caribbean, for people who don't know, Royal Caribbean is a very big family friendly. It caters to adults, kids, multi-generational, you name it, they have it. Their ships are pretty much known as the biggest and the most innovation because they not only have different things like slides and water parks, but they also make sure that no matter who's traveling, that means you can plan a big group thing. You can even plan something. I have people who do retreats and they have other people going with them. They can do something else while you're immersed in the retreat itself. So there's a lot of different avenues that you can do, but for this particular, it really nice because they have theaters, they have nightlife, they have shows, and they have it that caters to all generations. So it's not necessarily where you're like, it's going to be all adults focused and the kids are going to be like, oh, I'm so bored. The complete opposite. The kids have so much to do. They also make it very easy for the kids to be able to do things and also for the parents to know where they have to drop the kids off, what the different activities they have also, and to also be able to connect. So if they're like, oh, okay, well, I know that, my kid's going to be here from this time, then the parents or the adults or whatever can do other stuff during that time. So they make it very easy, especially for a lot of these Asia ports, because once you're in destination, these are ones that you want to make sure you can try to experience. So getting off of the ship, making sure you have comfortable shoes, comfortable clothes. So while they're on the ship is like the fun and all that. And then once you're getting off of it, it's more of exploring and seeing what a lot of the culture and history that they have to offer. And Royal Caribbean does a very good job at making sure it overall it's a great experience. They do have a wide range of cabins. So they have interior ocean view, balcony suites. A lot of theirs is made for families. So a lot of them have 4 people. They also do have a handful of cabins that also can accommodate 5 people. However, they are on a first come, first serve basis when they're available. So sometimes they're a lot harder to get into. Nice thing about Royal Caribbean is they do have promotions and sometimes they'll do either kids free or kids a very, very reduced rate just to kind of help it out. The one thing I did want to mention, and it was right there, I'm trying to think about what it was. Oh yeah. So for these particular cruise lines, for Royal Caribbean, we always recommend, a lot of their itineraries do come out about a year and a half to 2 years in advance, depending on where you're looking to travel. These are one of them. If you have either a big family or you are looking for cabins that do accommodate 5 people, even if you want a spacious 4 cabin one. Also, if you're looking for any type of conference, retreat, anything where you're going to have a lot of people, this is one of the things I recommend booking in advance big time. I say this because with cruising, not only are the promotions and the group rates and everything are out much sooner, but especially when we have to worry about reserving space and availability, and depending on what the agenda is looking like, we want to get ahead of that. And some of these bigger ships, 9 times out of 10, the closer we get there, not only are the prices, but the availability does change. And if you want like a certain amount of interior ocean view or balcony cabins, that's where this all plays. Now, on the individual level, where there are clientele that is just going there just because of either family or friends, I also do recommend booking in advance, because you can literally in a cabin next to somebody and you got yours for like $1,000 cheaper just because you booked it in advance, versus them booking it maybe about 3 or 4 months prior to cruising. And that's based off of if it's even available, because a lot of these more unique destinations like Mediterranean or Asia, they definitely do fill up pretty fast. So it's just kind of something just to kind of keep in mind. This particular cruise ship, it does have quite a few different Asia itineraries. The nice part about it is a lot of these, some of them are there for half a day. A lot of them, they are there for the full day, just depending on what the itinerary is looking like. So you can do a lot of different tours and excursions, which is something for these itineraries, 100% I recommend doing it in advance, because they don't have a ton of people on each of them. Like if you did something similar to like the Caribbean, and they do it because they want to keep it small knit. They also, some of these places, they may have people, like in terms of how many people can be in a certain location at one time. So definitely make sure you do it in advance, because you don't want to miss out. You kind of traveled all the way here and you're like, hey, I want to see something, but I can't. So, and I know sometimes people are kind of like, I don't want like too much of a jam packed, but if you're going away for a week, even longer, at least do a couple of pre-arranged tours, unless you see other things that you're just like kind of like a must do and you want to really do while you're there. But at least do 2 of them so that you're kind of set. And then the other ones, you're like, I'll kind of fill it out while you're there and see how it is. But you would hate to have none. And then the only ones left are ones that you're kind of not that interested in. Well, with that being said, let us know. Have you been to Asia? Have you been there by cruise? There's so many different options that you can do. Definitely make sure you like and subscribe. We have so many different videos coming up. Definitely put in the comments, or as you guys always do, schedule a consultation or drop us an email with any questions, thoughts, things you want to hear about in the future. Or if you're looking to plan something and you need kind of like that guidance to see what works best so that we can kind of get you on our books and get everything set. Till next time, talk to you soon. Bye.